Nana, 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 nana.
Na 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 na.
Nana, 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 nana.
Second dose. No bullshit. No bullshit. No bullshit.
Public, let's just do breaking news. No more bullshit. No more bullshit.
No bullshit.
Na 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 na. No bullshit!
No bullshit.
On, baby. Welcome back to the coolest hour in news.
On
no
the lower
bullshit
level.
news hour. No Facebook Live this week.
Okay, well, that's okay.
Bob's off getting drunk somewhere. he fucked the whole thing up last week when we had Johnny see the stuntman and I came down the stairs.
Wait, it didn't come on?
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be the no bullshit news hour without a technical fuck up. So what happened, Joey? Bob hit the off button on the camera, didn't he? We're gonna get Joey to tell you.
Yeah, he may have just clicked off of the screen a little bit.
So he clicked off.
After all of that?
After that whole prep, my whole fall, it was a pretty good fall.
Yeah, it was, and you practiced it, and it was perfect.
And then he turned it off. Oh, well.
Okay, that's all right. We'll keep it moving.
But remember, tell your friends, tell yourself, tell your mom. You can go to iTunes, put in LeDuff. You can put in No Bullshit News Hour, download it, subscribe, and then it'll come to you. You'll be notified.
Yep.
How's that? Did I do right?
Very
Did I do
well.
what Drew told me to do?
That's perfect.
Right. And Google, what else? Google Play?
Yeah, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher.
We're in all of it.
You're everywhere.
We're over 3 million now in just about 60 shows.
Wow.
But anyway, I digress, But when Drew, if you're listening, no, I'm not doing Odell Beckham. No, I'm not doing the green ooze. No, I'm not talking about Senator Lucido and his bad manners. I'm not talking about the Houston Astros. You know why I care?
Why?
Because everybody's talking about that shit,
That's true.
right? Everybody's got an opinion. You don't want that, people out there. You got 1 hour.
Well, I guess
Shoveling
my thing
your
is
snow.
that you don't want the same topic, just having it repeated from different voices. It gets tired.
It does.
It does.
So that's not what we're going to do. We're going to have, like we promised, we're going to have City Council member Eric Mays on. Eric Mays,
Deep voice.
going viral again. Eric Mays. For giving the Nazi salute to the City Council president. That's the anxiety going on in regular America. And we're going to have John Mosina, president of the Center for Economic Accountability. Let's get a rational, even-keeled, unaffiliated economist to look at all this money that we're pumping in. I promise you it won't be boring, but, I do need to start real quick. It'll probably be old news by the time you get this because, it's not Facebook Live. But President Trump has rounded out his defense team, right, for his it's not even impeachment hearing, is it? It's his trial.
Well, he's going to trial next, starting Tuesday.
Right? And what happens if the president does get removed? Nobody expects him to.
Well, but Charlie, impeachment and
Wait, I
removal
asked
from
a
office are
question.
two things. I know, but I'm saying impeachment and removal from office are two different
What
things.
Well, now it's the...
But if he is removed from office, then Pence becomes... I mean, you're
Pence becomes president.
Yeah, and so...
But Pence can't run for re-election if he becomes president because he hasn't filed his campaign paperwork. So Trump, the guy that's been removed...
Could probably run again?
He will run again. And then if this keeps up, I'm going to have to vote for the dude just so, my favorite soap opera goes on.
And that's exactly what it is, Charlie.
Doesn't it seem like
it's a soap opera.
Nobody's watching this shit.
It's crazy.
Nobody's watching the
But nobody
Democratic
can keep up
debates.
Either. Nobody can keep up either, Charlie.
And why is that, Karen?
It's too much. I mean, you think about all the pomp and circumstance about the delivery of the articles, everybody's
See that?
walking. I was like, what is this? And then Nancy Pelosi, with the one letter or one stroke for each pen. And I'm like, this is what we criticize Donald Trump for doing and holding. It's just too much.
Like
and it
terrible
takes,
theater, right? Look like the
it's too
Stepford
much.
wives walking to the pool with iced tea with those papers, right?
And then McConnell said, he's not. He can't be objective. He said this is a political process. So everybody's so party loyal that it doesn't matter. They're going to stick to their party commitment. He said that yesterday. So the oath be damned.
And look, whose fault is it? It's their fault, and it's the mainstream national media's fault. You know why? Because everything was the same volume. Melania's jacket, Melania's heels, Trump throwing towels at a hurricane site, the shithole comment, the bombing of the Iranian general, right? Everything is the same tone. And it's hard for me. That's why I'm bored with all this shit.
Well, what's exciting to you, Charlie?
Well, you're going to know by now, but I'm just going to say it like, so Trump doubles down on this show, doesn't he? Because 2 lawyers he's going to have are Ken Starr, who was the independent counsel, the guy that came up with the blue dress charges on Clinton. And I know Clinton lied to a grand jury, folks, so don't send the comments. I'm not even reading them anyway, right? Then what did Ken Starr do after that? Ken Starr was the president of Baylor University, and he was gone in a sex abuse scandal, sexual misconduct, and he didn't handle it right, like what went on at Michigan State. So there's a guy.
He'll fit right in.
And then the other guy is Alan Dershowitz, the retired Harvard professor, the guy that successfully defended O.J. and helped Jeffrey Epstein get that nice deal where, even though he's trafficking in minors, he's allowed to leave jail, really easy terms, and he's accused of trafficking in young girls himself.
Then Trump's in his rightful company.
What a show.
Yeah.
What a show.
That's what it is.
That I probably won't watch, right?
Well,
so
you can listen to everybody else. They'll talk about it.
I just wanted to say I got off the phone, and yeah, it's true. And I'm sure it's going to be old news, but I had to do it. Before we go any farther, let me tell you about American Coney Island. When you say American Coney Island, you say Detroit American Coney Island, the city's oldest family-run restaurant and birthplace of the famous Coney dog. Chili, mustard, and Vidalia onions. Perfect for the football playoffs. Send your friends a Coney kit, a dozen dogs with all the fixings right to their door, just in time for the game. Go to AmericanConeyIsland.com or go downtown at the corner of Michigan and Lafayette. Don't forget, American Coney Island also caters parties and tailgates. Always delicious, always open, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. American Coney Island.
That's every day.
A little out of sorts today.
That's okay, Charlie. You're entitled. Just take it easy.
I'm all right. It's just it's been a disconnected week.
Why?
Because, look, it's zoo time now. You're zoo animals out there, to the political class and the national media. Where have they been? They haven't really written about your life or reported about it in any honest way. You're right. You're just a polling number. So now it begins. I had to take a crew from Norwegian national TV around because I said I would. So they're going to call a reporter to take a reporter around to look at the zoo animals, which is all of us, right? I take that seriously because I guess I'm going to have to show you because you're not going to look for yourself. I'm getting calls from the Washington press corps. Hey, let's pal around. I'm like, where the fuck you been?
Well, but better late than never, Charlie. And if anybody's going to show them the real deal, the real people, the real challenges, the real, struggles and the real successes, I can't think of anybody better.
Well, find them yourself because you know what? It starts to get
It's
repetitive
too much work,
and slanted.
Charlie. They aren't doing all that. Come on.
Yeah, so, this week I'm hanging out in a sauna with a bunch of naked middle-aged white men.
That doesn't sound appealing.
Do you know what naked middle-aged white men say behind closed doors?
No, actually, I don't.
You have no idea, do you?
I don't. Not sure I want to, but go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. Whether they're conservative or liberal, and these were like artists and mechanics and HVACs guys and sculptors and photographers, but they belong to like an ethnic club that their grandparents set up when they came from the old country, right? So they maintain a community.
Is it like that bathhouse thing?
Yeah, it's like Scandinavian shit. They're into it. And then they jump into a frozen lake, and then they run back into the 200-degree sauna, right? And then they sag to the floor, and it's a little disconcerting. But to a person, and I've heard this at Christmas tree sales at the church and all that, like white men are not the enemy, and they don't want to be seen as the enemy, and they don't want to have to defend themselves and like they're the problem, and they see it that way. What they tend to see themselves really as is the backbone. They take care of their families. They pay their taxes. They employ people. They're good employees. And to sort of be the outlier all of a sudden is annoying to them.
Well, that sounds that it would be, Charlie. Nobody wants to be.
What's wrong with Whitey? Nothing.
Well, so they say, but I mean, my point is that nobody wants to be seen as, anything.
Unliked.
Yeah, well, unliked or less than.
That's why I said, how's it feel, Whitey? How's it feel? But like I said, I disagree with Bob. Like, remember we had that conversation. I think we've come a long way. These are good men.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that for all the good that they do, that there is still not some contribution to the problem, the downfall, or the compromise of other people or society as a whole. I'm saying they can do all those things. They can, take care of their families. They can be an employer. They can be good people. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that, not necessarily individually, but maybe collectively, that there's not something reflective of who they are and what they represent in this country that doesn't undermine those who don't look like them.
You're talking in code. You better just say.
No, I'm not talking in
that's
code,
totally
Charlie.
Code. I have no idea what you said. What do you mean?
I'm saying that they could be good people
Yeah.
and still be part of the problem.
Yeah, but like, again, I think the point is you're looking at it collectively like they're a problem. And they don't see themselves as a problem.
Who does see themselves as a problem?
Well, exactly. So, again, you would say, okay, like poor black America it has a problem. Has a problem, like the violence and taking care of your kids and all that. And then, but if you go there and you actually talk to real people, most people don't live like that, think like that, or see themselves like that.
Exactly.
And that's why I say
the same
to them,
thing.
how's it feel, Whitey?
And
Right? Because you're judging people.
right.
And over years, these guys, from their forebears are learning, hey, stop looking at the world like your forebears did. And they don't. So how come they don't get the same?
Well, I think that they have to do something, expose themselves, like you, Charlie. You're talking about people when you
they were
go
exposing themselves.
You go not like that, but I'm saying in terms then they can't continue to follow the path of the status quo. I'm saying they've got to connect. They've got to expose themselves, not like that, but to other people, to other situations, and to be able to show that they're not like that they're not part of the problem. So what are they doing to help either address the problem or not contribute to it? And if nobody knows about it, then what difference does it make?
The only thing an individual can do is be a good person.
Yeah, but if you're being a good person to yourself and your family, I mean, that's a start. That's a big deal. But if you feel,
the main deal.
But it is the main deal. But if you feel ostracized or unjustly criticized for being something else, and it bothers you,
Speak up.
then you have to say or show that you're not what you think other people think you are.
Is anybody interested in seeing? Do you have to speak? Can't you do it by example? Isn't
That's
that
what I'm saying by see. But I'm saying they have to see them doing something or saying something or showing a different side. If they're following the path of their forebears and doing the same thing and they're doing the status quo, then they're still part of that group.
I'm vouching for Whitey. I'm vouching for him. I know. You know any white men?
Yeah,
You know a lot of them.
that's a lot.
Like more than
More
two.
than the three
More
that's
than
in here.
the three in the house. Yeah.
Charlie, just listen. That's why it's like people.
Do you
think
like them?
I like people. I mean, if you're a good person, I like you. I don't care what color you are.
Right.
I do. If you're a jerk or a-hole, I don't like you. I don't care what color you are. I don't. So I know a lot of people, Charlie. I know a ton of people.
Nobody
All
wants to be
kinds of
lumped
races.
into a group of a stereotype.
No, nobody does.
I'm just watching them, and like one guy's like, this is such a redneck drink right here. Listen to this one.
Bourbon.
Burners and vodka. Fucking burners. And a dude's drinking it in the sauna. It's 200 degrees. It's flat and warm, right? And this guy starts mumbling about Trump. And there's some Trump supporters in there, and there's some people that really dislike Trump in that sauna. But to a man, they all flashed eyes at him. Like, you're not doing that. You're not going off, right? You're going to be respectful. and they put him out a couple weeks earlier for his behavior like that. And I thought it was really interesting just to be a fly on the bench, like, look how these guys handle it.
So go sit in a sauna with a bunch of black guys and come back and tell me what you see and hear.
Go to the barbershop. Exactly.
No, I said sauna. That's different. But anyway, okay, go to the barbershop.
Well, I will if anybody wants to invite me to one. I mean, all
right, so all the black guys listening, invite Charlie out to hang out. But, you hang out.
I do hang out.
Yeah, I know you do. So that's nothing new.
But I do not like getting my mustache cut in the black barbershop.
Why?
Because they always give me an Arrow Flynn, one of those little thin pencil ones. You know what I mean? It takes like an hour to get it just perfect. It's like my grandpa wore that one.
You have to tell them what you want, Charlie.
I just figure, trim it.
But you're pretty fly, so they
just get it off my lip.
They want to keep you cool.
Right. Speaking of councilman.
Speaking of fly.
Speaking of mustaches, on the phone joining us, and speaking not only of mustaches, but anxiety and frustration in the real America, right? Beyond the headlines. We're going back to Flint right now, which used to be in the headlines, and then it's boring to everybody now. And Flint's in a really difficult way. Tempers are flaring. We've got a friend of the show, City Councilman Eric Mays. You there?
Hey, good afternoon, Charlie LeDuff.
How you doing, brother?
I'm trying to see which barbershop I'm going to take you to.
There you go. All right. Are we going to take a sauna together?
Well, I don't know.
That's the answer I wanted, dude.
We can get our mustaches trimmed. We can get our mustaches trimmed.
Yeah, and I'll treat you to a Verner's and vodka, but I'm not taking a steam bath with you, bro. No offense.
I don't drink and drive.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
And remember, if the dentures don't fit, you must have quit.
If the teeth fit, you must have quit. I was not at a .08, according to the testimony, not guilty. But anyway, Charlie, I was
you're going viral again.
And I was enjoying listening to you guys talk.
Was that all right? Because, like I said, I'm out of sorts. But anyway, you are not the Green Ooze, the Houston Astros, Odell Beckham Jr., or Senator Lucido. But you're gone viral. You, sir, gave the Nazi salute to the city council president this week. What?
Well, it was no
you called
joke.
Hitler.
Charlie, Councilman Mays in my elected seat in office, you can check the record. All of our meetings are recorded. I bet you I've been arrested and wrongfully handcuffed and removed out of my council seat more than any council person probably in the history of the city of Flint. It's happened under emergency managers who I refer to as dictators. It's happened under council presidents, Kerry Nelson and others. I've got paid for one. I even got removed and arrested for simply saying, Madam Clerk, I'd like to call the meeting order. Roll call, Madam Clerk. That's January 23rd, 2019.
Maybe you have a problem.
I call it dictatorship and Gestapo tactics. I like a democracy.
There you go with the Nazi, vocabulary again. Let me do this.
Well, let me say this, Charlie. If I'm told not to say another word by somebody who's acting like a dictator, I think they know what it means. When I don't say another word, I avoid an illegal arrest and stay in my seat. My job is to focus on the budget, the audit, the lawsuits in the water case. People done died. I'm the fighter. I'm going to continue to fight. Now I'm getting all these calls from the Jewish Federation leagues and others. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I'll take all of what y'all say under advisement. But if you go on Family Feud and Steve Harvey say, Charlie, name a bad dictator, and the lady next to you say, boop, she hit the button before you do, and she say Saddam Hussein, and then they say it's number 3, ain't but 3 answers up there, and then they say Charlie, and you say Adolf Hitler. I bet you're gonna have the number 1 answer, and you pass a play. I don't know who you can use to say whether you should say Hitler, Kim Jong.
Hold on. Let's clue the listener in here. Mannequin, we got the clip. Why don't we play it here? I should tell the viewer, listener, that during this you do throw the Heil Hitler sign. So hold on. Go ahead and play that, Joe.
But we are ending this portion. And so thank you. We will be talking to you. And I just want to say for the record.
President Galway, point of information.
What's your point of information?
Did you have to be rude to me?
I'm trying not to be rude.
Well, then you shouldn't have. I was wrapping it up. I was thanking him. You ain't got to be like Hitler.
I'm not.
You sound like it from where I sat. Like Hitler. What you want me to do? Go on with that.
Mr. Mays, you can be ruled out of order too.
Not when I say point of information.
Mr. Mays.
And I said that.
Mr. Mays, you're
and
done.
I'm going to do a point of information.
What's your point of information?
Do you want me to communicate with you like Hitler?
Next on our agenda is the presentation of minutes.
I'm just saying.
No, wait a minute.
That was shade.
So that was shade. That really was. I mean, okay, look, let's do this. You want to apologize?
What does shade mean?
That means
just dismissing you in a very quiet, subtle manner.
Yeah, it was better than getting arrested. Y'all had to be in my shoes. I've been arrested way too many times.
I know you listed it, but look, let's try to do something good here. Do you want to apologize? Because when the Jewish community is calling you up, you know what that means. You want to just maybe apologize for your choice of dictators. It just, that's the one. Maybe the Nazis
when they say the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan is offensive to me, when they say white supremacists and doing stuff now it's offensive to me. I've told the Jewish community, and I'll tell you, I'm learning what this feels to them. Didn't know, ain't meant no harm to nobody. I'm taking it under advisement. When a circuit court judge is gathering information, I'm gathering information. I'm taking under advisement. I didn't know you couldn't use Hitler as an example of a dictator.
But do it with me. I'm
do that, Charlie.
Sorry. I apologize.
Do it with me. I'm taking it under advisement. I'm researching.
So once you get there, let's just say like you do some research and you take it under advisement and you realize that might have been a little bit too much.
Yeah, this is what I've researched so far. They say they want people to say, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again, I understand, I'm sensitive. And that's what some people want people to do in Black America. It's a word that they got in the Jewish community. Look like I researched it. It's like a T, a tether, whatever the word is, it's 4 things they want you to do for closure. So I'm taking it under advisement. I'm researching what's happening.
I'm asking, and I'm not trivializing the impact of what you said on a group of people. But it's like
on one person or two. Emergency managers, a dictator, Monica Galloway, Tom.
No, I'm saying if the Jewish community, sir,
I didn't talk about them.
If the Jewish community has reached out to you and they have 4 things for you to follow, I'm talking about them being offended.
I got 4 things for America to follow. One of them is reparations. One of them is, you can't compensate folks for getting lynched and hung. I'm just saying I'm researching it. I'm sensitive. I'm taking it under advisement. But I hope that this go viral nationwide and we can have a dialogue about all cultures. Jews wasn't the only ones killed in the Holocaust.
Yeah, but don't diminish it. Well, you know what I mean?
I don't think that's diminishing it, but I do think that there are...
No, wait a minute. You mean Jews weren't the only ones killed? I mean, what is that?
Right. Blacks wasn't the only ones killed under the water crisis. I'm telling you, dictators dictatorship is no good, whether it's in Flint and Gestapo tactics is used, or whether it's in Germany. My position is this: I'm for democracy. I'm for freedom of speech. I'm for not getting arrested out of my elected seat. Way more different than anybody else. I'm telling you, one of the best examples of a dictator, in my opinion, and it came to mind immediately, was Hitler. And I think it'll show up like that on Family Feud if you had to do that. So I don't know whose example I should use. Should I have said Kim Jong-un?
Yeah, maybe that. All right, maybe you picked the wrong dictator, but the standing up and giving the salute, that's a little, you know.
Well, it's one way of communicating without saying another word. This lady had threw Councilman Griggs out the other day. I've been through out repeatedly, so I made sign language to get my point across.
What the fuck is going on in Flint? Because because you guys, that was a 7-hour city council meeting. Right?
Some of them should be 12 hours. Some of them should adjourn. Listen, some of them should recess and adjourn on a Monday and re-adjourn on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. This is a legislative session. I'm not going to let nobody set the narrative of how long it takes to take care of city business. That's another flaw my colleague in the community
are you guys taking care of city business? If in fact this is how the meetings are run, is this why the water issue isn't resolved? Is this why the other issues aren't resolved?
Let me say this. When I took over as finance chair, we was in a $9 to $12 million deficit and had emergency managers in place. Now we got a $24 million fund balance and then threw and ran the emergency managers out. Yeah. Believe me, I can give you a 12-minute talk on all the multi-million dollars worth of business we've been taking care of. It's a myth to believe that we ain't been taking care of business.
Yeah, but no, it's not. Maybe I won't go into the taking care of business, but the outlook for Flint is not a good one. The pension's funded under 35%, right? You've got 400 workers replenishing it. You got $24 million in the bank, but the future doesn't.
If you buy a $300,000 house or a $3 million house, you got a mortgage. Our pensions will be paid, and the plan is a 30-year plan. Whether we put $10 million or whatever, our retirees will be looked out for under my watch.
How can you say it?
By me keep arguing and fussing and arguing about these millions of dollars. Now, if somebody else want to be finance chair, they can have it. But when it's under my watch, you got a pit bull monitoring the purse strings as it relates to Flint.
You know, I was reading that audit, and there's like money being paid for work that wasn't even under contract. And you know what? You know how you fix that? I'll tell you how you fix it.
You subpoena people. You put them on oath. You get to the bottom of it. You be a true legislature. You don't worry about if a meeting lasts an hour, 2 or 3 hours. You recess. You adjourn. You have a real legislative session. This council has been in and out in an hour or two like McDonald's and Burger King. Not under my watch.
Have you tried that, what is that burger, that veggie burger?
Plant-based burger.
Yeah, the Impossible Burger? That's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Charlie, people try to set the narrative for Flint. I'm the one
that's
who came
Karen's
up with
word.
the strategy to declare the emergency. I'm the one who done marched with the person, what's her name, Erin Brockovich.
Let me ask you a question. Let's go back. Let's go back to your dining options. Does Flint have a Chick-fil-A?
I don't know, Ronnie. Does Flint got a Chick-fil-A? I don't know. I be eating at the corner Subway. Me and Sam Riddle might have a Kool-Aid and a corned beef. I don't know. I go to McDonald's.
Corned beef.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a Halo burger and a vodka and burners, man.
When you hear again, because me and you was on Pulaski Street dealing with the pipes. If you hear again, I'm going to take you to it. They say you want blue, orange, or red Kool-Aid. That's what I like with my corned beef sometimes. Sometime I get a Coney Island or some fries.
Huh, look at that. Well, you come down here, I'll treat you at American. Now, listen, I'm just going to do this. Have you heard of ADR Consultants? Have you heard of them?
ADR. Look like I seen that initials ADR. I'm
Listen,
not sure
whether it's government or private industry, you're measured by results. Get the job done right, on time, on budget. ADR Consultants, 248-318-9424. Reduce your costs, increase your bottom line. They're experts in procurement, government compliance, information technology, and property management. Honest, ethical, and smart. Now listen, here I got this from a municipality here. ADR. You want to call them? Ready? 248-318-9424 just for a consultation. This is from I got this unsolicited. This is from somebody emailed me in a municipality here. It says, Charlie, just want to take a minute to give some props to one of your sponsors, Barry Ellentuck from ADR Consultants. My city has used ADR for a number of different projects, and we use its consulting services for technology regularly. I've personally worked with Barry in my capacity in 2 different government entities. Barry and his people have always produced top-notch procurement and consulting services and have truly saved us hundreds of thousands, by now probably millions. They have also saved us an immeasurable value with proper compliance. You can't go wrong with ADR. So,
Charlie, as a finance chair, I'll put them on my agenda, on our agenda, and if there's no objections, they could do a presentation. I can commit to that.
248-318-9424.
My number is 810-922-4860. 810-922-4860.
Do it again.
Councilman Mays and ADR. 810-922-4860. And so, I would always welcome knowledge and presentations. And then if they bid and got work with the city and helped us out, I would brag about them from now to the cows come home.
So let's do that number again in case.
I like them. Hopefully they like me.
Okay, excellent. And let's give that number out again in case you demand an apology.
Give them ADR's number again. I see what you're saying.
Okay, ready? It's 248-318-9424.
And my number is 810-922-4860.
Excellent.
Councilman Mays, City of Flint.
Now, Councilman, if a lot of upset people about that Hitler bit, they might be calling you too. Get ready for it.
Oh, I've been ready. My phone been ringing from Mississippi to California to Texas. Believe me, ever since the water crisis, I've operated open, honest, and transparently the best I can. You said in my office when we was trying to track down the health department in the infant stages of the water crisis. And so some people don't know that we're still fighting. I've been fighting since I was 21 years old, 3rd Vice President, Political Action Chair, Executive Board member of the Flint branch of the NAACP.
All right already.
61 now.
Self-promoter over here. God. Anyway. Good for you.
Hey, I see my friend Gerald Kareem got promoted in the UAW. I guess he's gonna be a vice president. I used to be recording secretary.
I wouldn't take any job at the UAW. You're going to be working for the federal government before too long.
Union strong, union strong, solidarity. But I'll tell you this: I'm really seriously looking at this. The calls I'm getting as it relates to people saying they're offended, and I really seriously has it under advisement. As I gain knowledge, I'll do research, and we'll see how this thing plays out.
Let's practice
now, my position
in case
one of the worst dictators.
In case you come to a conclusion, let's practice how the 2 words sound. You and I. Come on. Do it for brotherhood.
For brotherhood.
Yeah, and sister, come on.
Hey, I'm sorry I'm taking so much time to take this under advisement and do my research, but we're getting there.
All right. Hey, listen, thanks. And something's coming down the pike in Flint, let us know, please. I didn't. Notice I didn't say
I'm trying
pike.
to see these lawsuits get settled. Charlie, I lost my mom. People died. It was more than just lead. It was bacteria, germs, brown water. So right now, I don't know what Dana Nessel and Kim Worthing and Hamad and them gonna do as it relates to criminal and civil charges.
Yeah, they gotta get your ass moving. They gotta get your ass
really
moving.
Pushing for them to come on and settle these suits and charge people. Hell, they charge me. They arrest me in council meetings. I want the same treatment for these other folks who've done wrong.
Where are the lawsuits filed by? Who are these lawsuits from residents?
Yeah, you got a class action group of lawyers that was headed up. I remember bringing Trishelle Young in, and she done put Pitt and a group of lawyers around them. They handling the class actions. Then you got one big firm out of New York. They say they was dealing with, I think, even some of the 9/11 stuff, but they are called Napoleon and Skolnick. Even the guy Crump, who handled Trayvon Martin and Mike Brown's and them cases.
Did you just say Napoleon? What's with you and the dictators, dude?
No, Napoleon and Skolnick. I know it sounds similar, but that's a coincidence as well. So they've been in here. They first came in here with Hill Hopper, sponsored.
I'm getting lost.
I was just asking who filed the lawsuit, not the
Just
the
ask
law
me.
firms.
I'll give you the short answer. And I'm sorry.
Both. They're civil suits, class action,
Gotcha. Okay.
and
That was my
individual
question.
masses. I'm articulating.
Right,
We
hang
got
up on
about.
me. Just hang up.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
I'm hanging up on you.
Hang up on me, Charlie. Good seeing you.
All right, later, man.
God bless you.
Can't even say I'm sorry.
That was hard.
He's gonna study.
But I
That's the finance chairman, the Flint City Council.
his voice is. It seems like it hurts.
I think it's made for radio, but
Not
well, you know what hurts is look at that. You know what that reminds me of?
what old days.
Detroit
City-
pre-bankruptcy. Monica Conyers, Ken Cockrell Jr., Shrek, right? Feds running around everywhere. State Attorney General running around everywhere.
Sound like politics.
Oh God, that's what's really going on. Now listen, if you're from Washington Post or the New York Times or whatever, just go to Flint, man. Like, don't go there with the story in your head. Just go and watch and write something original as you see it. You notice there's no good reads anymore.
Yeah, that's why I click there the clickbait, because if once you click on the story, it has nothing to do with the headline, and it's the same thing that you've read already.
And it's a bunch of like Telegraph dispatch sentences, right? Like going through these, like Odell Beckham or the Green Ooze or the Houston Astros. There's no yarn. There's no story. Like, what about the guy that washed the uniforms for the Houston Astros? What'd you see in the, like, give me a story.
You got to look behind. You have to look to see those stories, if that makes sense. You really have to look.
Hey, call our guy John, will you? Because from top to bottom, trying to cover our society and understand all of you out there, and report dutifully and look for good stories like naked guys in a sauna, like what middle-aged white guys say behind closed doors. It's fascinating to me. I also spoke to a group of Merrill Lynch bankers. Regional meeting. It was interesting. And you know what I really learned?
What?
They're not sure what the economy's doing either.
It's interesting.
They're not sure about why we're running a federal deficit. We say the economy's good, but without the borrowing from the federal government, the economy would be shrinking. Or if the economy goes bad, how do you cut interest rates when we've already cut them? Or how do you cut taxes in the slow times when you cut taxes in the fast times? This is why, and it was interesting, and they were really good people, you know what I mean? Even a couple from downriver. Because I got introduced as being from downriver. I said, how dare you? Anybody from downriver? And there was 3 of them. And I'm proud of you.
That work for Merrill Lynch?
Yeah, and then, you see, that's the thing. We're all assuming.
I was just asking
No,
Charlie.
you're
for
not. I wasn't
clarification.
accusing you. Because even I was like making fun of downriver,
I
but
was questioning, but I was trying to be legit, courteous.
and I just thought it was interesting. Like,
But like you said earlier, stereotypes. Nobody wants to be a part of one, and nor should we feed into it. So the first thing is downriver and Merrill Lynch. That doesn't match, but it does. So.
and the question, I was getting like, well, don't we need to hand over hundreds of millions of dollars to billionaires in order to get development rolling. And this is a really big question. It's the question of American economic life.
And they said,
well, I said, I don't believe so. I'm a capitalist, not a crony capitalist, or actually a socialist where the government picks the winners. That's how I was taught. You risk your money, it works, you win. You risk your money, it doesn't work, you lose.
that's true.
That's how I figured it. So there was there's a series of great articles in the Detroit News written by John Mozina, whose title is President of the Center for Economic Accountability. I got him pegged as kind of a libertarian, independent economic thinker. So I reached out to him. But, before I do, that's, Luke Nowacki, a sponsor of the show. He and I don't agree on the fundamentals of, the long-term stability of the economy. But he listens to me. He knows how I live my life, what I think, where I want to go, my financial risk-taking.
Your comfort level.
Exactly. So that's how we approach it, right? He and I. You can get a hold of Luke, just like ADR. Just call. They'll cost you nothing. 248-663-4748. Grow your assets from annuities to individual retirement accounts to college saving plans to good old stocks and bonds. Make the call now, right? Your children, your politicians, everybody hanging on you is dependent on you to pay your taxes. Make sure there's something left over for yourself. Luke Nowacki, 248-663-4748. Securities and Investment Advisory Services offered through Royal Alliance Associates, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Royal Alliance Associates, Inc., separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referred here are independent of Royal Alliance. And then Hall Financial. Now's the time. Rates are near historic lows over this decade. Now's the time to get a mortgage, to refinance your mortgage. Do you have lingering high interest rates on your credit cards? You may not know. You can get it all done right through Hall Financial. 248-308-5000. The smart idea is to go to the company with over 1,000 five-star reviews that has recently been averaging 10 days from start to finish for listeners that have applied for a refinance on their mortgage, and that's
Hall Financial.
Yeah, simple process. No secret that saving money is smart. You can get started by calling 248-308-5000 or just go to davidhallmortgage.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 1467435.
Okay.
Right on.
Very good.
In the middle of our street.
I remember this.
Who is it? Ramp. Don't worry about it. I don't want to
Not
get.
Wham.
Hey, John, you with us? John, what are you doing?
How's it going?
What are you doing? Are you on the crapper?
No, it's a product. Can you not hear me?
Yeah.
Hang on a second here.
Maybe he's in the sauna.
Is that better?
Yeah. Are you a white guy?
What's that?
Are you a white guy?
I am, yes.
Do you like saunas?
Not especially, no.
Are you in any kind of shape?
No.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
I'm like 48 and fat, you know.
Yeah, now, when's the last time you looked at yourself in the mirror? Like really had the guts to look at your guts?
No, that's not a pretty thing, no.
No, see, I was taking off my clothes. I was going into this sauna, right? And there was this, like, evil mirror. And I was taking them off, and I try to keep fit. And I look at this thing, and I'm like, what the fuck?
It is the mirror, Charlie. It's the mirror.
Oh, my God.
I called the hotel once. I was like, there's something wrong with this mirror up here. Can you come and replace it or fix it?
I've become one of them. You know what it is?
Yeah,
it's like your body succumbed to gravity, and these strange patches of hair defy it.
You got a dad bod, Charlie?
Oh, my God. I was like, where'd that fucking come from?
Charlie, you're thin, man. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
but it's just, it's thin, and it doesn't really look as good
jiggle?
as it used to look.
Does it jiggle when you walk?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, then you're okay.
I'll hold it in. I'm going to get Spanx.
That lady's a billionaire for a reason.
John, look, this is the numbers part, everybody. But for all you out there, like, respect. John, give us your political outlook. Who are you? I'm not calling guys that agree with me. I'm just calling guys that read like they're independent and smart. So, who are you?
I say I'm libertarian, not more of a mindset than a political party. I mean, I don't consider myself part of any political party. I sort of I tend to boil down my views into the idea that government should protect us from each other, but not from ourselves. And I'm skeptical, just in general, that that the government is always the tool to solve problems. I think that we have a responsibility to each other to like take care of each other, to build a good community, to leave like the world a better place when we found it as much as we can. And I think that we have a moral responsibility to help people who can't help themselves. But I also think that evidence shows that government's usually a pretty crappy way of going about doing that. So I try to find ways of doing good in the world that don't necessarily involve politicians and bureaucrats.
So go ahead, Ken.
I was going to say, give me an example, because we were just talking about this, when people want to break away from the stereotype of people not doing what the people before them did, or that they're different. So give us. You mean
this chubby white guy, right? Who pays his tax? Like, okay, so you're not an insular racist white guy. What is it you do to try to help all of us?
Well, I mean, what I'm doing these days is I'm looking at, I was fortunate enough to be born into a family that had resources and
rich,
a community.
Dumpy, middle-aged white guy.
My parents both worked for a living. My grandparents.
I hate those guys. Oh, rich boy.
I want to hear a story. You said your grandparents what? Go ahead.
I have one grandparent who went to college, first person in the family to go to college. My parents both did. We had a family business.
Wait a minute, your grandparents were the first?
Charlie, let him talk.
I was the first. Okay, I'm pissed. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
But so I came out of not rich or anything, but we weren't hurting for food or a roof over our heads, and I grew up in Grosse Pointe, living next door to Detroit, and sort of seeing like why
which points
are these folks who are just as decent, just as good human beings, just as deserving of a good life as across Alter Road here. Why should their houses be worse? Why should their schools be worse? And then sort of looking at that on a global level and trying to figure out, economics started because Adam Smith back in the 1700s asked the question, why are some countries rich and some countries poor? His whole book, The Wealth of Nations, was an inquiry into the causes of the wealth, what actually causes wealth. Wealth is the absence of poverty. So what causes wealth? And that took me through a various string of things. I spent 20 years sort of in private sector, marketing, PR, whatnot, world around town and around the country. And I've gotten to the point of sort of being like, I know how to spend time trying to figure out, using all of the evidence from all sorts of researchers and history all over the political spectrum, what can we be doing in our communities, cities, states, country, to do things that make it so fewer people are poor, more people are wealthy, that they have the resources they need to meet their wants, to do good things, to leave something for their kids, to do good in the community.
Okay,
and
so
a lot of times that involves not having the government trying to run it.
So what are you doing?
So no. We're now getting right into it, which is you're looking at the economics of Detroit. You're looking at the development projects. Let me ask it this way. Little Caesars Arena, the train station for Ford, the skyscraper and sundry other developments for Gilbert, the Chrysler plant on the east side. When you add all this up, what's promised, what we're giving in sweeteners, does Detroit win?
No, not even close. And it's not just Detroit. I mean, the organization that I started with some colleagues and I'm running now, we work at the national level. We work across the country. We've been brought into places like Iowa and Georgia and elsewhere to help them out. But, my heart is here. My home is here. we're based here. They're like, are you going to move to D.C.? I'm like, why the hell would I move to D.C.? I'm not leaving Detroit. So Detroit is a perfect example of how, in the name and with the promises of doing good for the whole community, what ends up happening is politicians get to look good for voters, and big corporations get to cash a bunch of checks, and things don't actually get any better for the average person.
Well, how do you measure that? These are promises into the future. They look good when you say, give me $450 million and I'll create 5,000 new jobs making $60,000 a year. I mean, that sounds like a winner.
Well, it does, but the problem is that, and this is one of the challenges, is that the average person, and this isn't a downside, it's just people, there's no reason for people to spend their days thinking about economics, but the average person doesn't look at this stuff, and that's sort of what we're trying to do, is explain that what people are sold is the benefits, but what they're not given any good insight into is the costs. And all the research that's out there shows that people love these deals. They love the idea of the Chrysler plant or the Gilbert's buildings or the Little Caesars Arena or whatever, because they hear about the benefits, they hear about the jobs, da-da-da-da. All the research shows that when people are actually given a little bit of equal time to the costs, that all of a sudden people get way less excited about this stuff, just as with anything else. If somebody's like, hey, here's this great car, it does 200 miles an hour, and it, works on like unicorn wishes or whatever, and you're like, that's great, I want that. And they're like, yeah, but it's a $2 million car. You're like, I'm not buying that car. That's what we have to do. So, for instance, you talked about the Chrysler plant, and it's one of those things where all the numbers are so big that nobody can wrap their heads around it. I mean, nobody has an idea of what $422 million is. There's no sense of context that anybody can possibly have with that. So try to break it down and actually put it in terms that maybe people can understand. So one component of that whole big deal was that the city went out, actually wrote a check to Crown Enterprises, the Maroon family business, something around $42 million, I think, to them to buy land that the Jefferson North plant expansion needed. And then the city turned around and gave the land that it had bought for $42 million to FCA for free as part of the deal. We can't understand $420 million. It's even hard to understand $42 million. What you can say is, hey, that's more money that the city spent on that free land than it spent to run the entire Detroit Health Department that year. And all of a sudden people start going, well, that doesn't seem right. And then I get to go, I know, right? And we have a larger discussion about that. So that's the kind of thing, is when you start comparing the numbers of the costs of these deals to things that people actually care about, all of a sudden they start asking harder questions, and they start to sort of automatically supporting this stuff. And that's the discussion. That's where we've all got to get, is we've got to get to the point where our leaders, whether it's the business leaders or the political leaders, where we're forcing them to be honest up front with the costs.
Well, let me do this. Let me go like this. Okay, so they would have, let's do some math, 5,000 new workers, right? And let's just assume what they're telling you is true, that they're going to make $60,000 a year on average, right? That's $300 million. Is that correct? That is correct. In a year, at a 2% income tax rate for the city, right? That's $6 million. So the city will get $6 million a year if, in fact, all these jobs appeared and stayed there. So if we gave them $42 million just for the land, we would recoup, the city would recoup its cost in 8 years. And you have 5,000 people working a pretty good job. So why wouldn't we support that?
Well, because there's a couple reasons for that. The first is
pretty smart.
That,
thank you.
The first is that all of these deals, all of these sort of calculations like that, they're all based on sort of the assumption that the Chrysler's only going to do that plant there, or they're only going to hire those people.
Yes.
If we give them that deal, if we give them that land. that same quarter that they got all that money, they had something like a 800, I don't have the number in front of me, like $880-something million quarterly profit.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking.
The question is, like, Chrysler's got to build cars and trucks someplace. They got to hire people to build those cars and trucks someplace. They're going to go out of business if they can't. The problem with all of these deals is it's something that economists call the but-for argument, which I say is a evidence that economists shouldn't name things because nobody knows what the hell that means. It's basically the idea that unless you give them the incentive, they're not going to do it. But the evidence is overwhelmingly that at least 3/4 of the time, the business is basically going to do the exact same thing without the incentive because they got to do business someplace. They got to have a headquarters. They got to have a plant. They got to have all that stuff.
There.
They already had 5,000 jobs down there.
They already had a presence.
Now dig. So here's my argument. See, let me check it with you, Mr. Brain. $42 million, and I just told you it would take 8 years to recoup that, right? For the city to actually get its money back, right? But the real sweetener we're giving them is 10 times that. It's about $420 million, right?
Yep.
So that means 8 years times 10 is 80 years for the city to break even on its investment, right?
Yeah, and that's not even counting the additional cost. Is that by having a plant there's more, there's sewer, there's cops, there's roads, there's all this sort of stuff. There's the trucks driving over the city streets. There are costs that a city incurs when there's business done there, and the argument is that we pay the taxes to cover the costs that us sort of being there and doing stuff are creating, and that's how that whole sort of deal works.
Do we have any idea?
Well, if they're not paying those taxes, then those costs are being borne by everybody else.
Yes, plus,
so, the city might make its money back, but in the meantime, the people of Detroit are still having to deal with, the costs of having this massive plant there, and they're covering Chrysler's share of the interim.
Well, then there's the point, that Chrysler, all right, we'll do that one. That one's pretty good jobs. But then you got a hockey arena, and you've got money you're paying towards the train station redevelopment. No, tell the listeners, we don't really have an idea of the totality of how much we've given private industry, do we?
Oh, no. And then part of that is because these organizations, they put so much effort, and they're designed from day one to be so opposed to transparency. There's a reason that it's the Detroit Economic Growth Corporation, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. A lot of these things are not designed as government agencies, but rather as these independent corporations, because that makes it easier for them to get around transparency laws. It lets them pay their bureaucrats more than they could pay under civil service. The highest paid people sort of in the orbit of state government are in the Michigan Economic Development Corporation.
So we have no idea what they're doing, what the terms are, or how much we're paying. Yes or no? We have very little idea.
We have some idea, but we don't have the total. Like, there's a good example is there's companies out there, and we basically know they're the big three. But officially, there are companies out there sitting on billions of dollars of state tax credits that they can cash in pretty much whenever they feel like it. And who has those credits and how much they're worth is considered to be confidential taxpayer information that the state won't tell anybody. Again, we can sort of figure it out pretty easily from context who they are, but back a couple of years ago, a couple of them cashed in some of the tax credits, and they ended up taking up almost exactly as much in tax credits as every other business in the state paid in business income taxes. It's like every business in the state wrote the Treasury a check for however many $1 billion it was, and then the same amount in tax credits went back out to just a few companies, basically the automakers.
Now, listen, you hear that?
It's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea. There's no way to restate it.
The nomenclature screws people up. A tax credit, right, sounds like I get a break on the amount of taxes I'm paying. That's what it sounds like. But what it really is, it's a cash payment, a subsidy to the company, correct?
Yeah, well, there's two kinds of tax credits. Not to get too nerdy for your listeners, but there's refundable and non-refundable. Non-refundable is what everybody thinks of when they think of a tax credit. You get, money knocked off your tax bill until you get to zero, and once you get to zero, that's where you are. A refundable tax credit is a fancy name for a subsidy. It's a way of hiding like an actual cash subsidy in the tax code, because it means that if you had, say, $100,000 worth of tax liability, but you had $125,000 worth of refundable tax credits, not only wouldn't have to pay taxes, but you'd actually get a, quote, refund check of $25,000.
Right.
Now, they know when they write these deals that these folks aren't going to have anywhere near that kind of tax liability.
Well, no, let's go like this. Let's go like this so people follow. What we're saying is multinational corporations, big three, we all know, you can Google it. We're actually paying them for the dignity of staying here and leaving us our jobs. So the guy working in the paint shop at Chrysler pays more to the state than Fiat Chrysler itself. Yes or no?
It'd probably depend year to year, but pretty much, yeah. And in fact, it gets even worse because some of the, if you want to get even worse about it, the new law that got signed toward the end of Governor Snyder's term, that some of the tax credits that are going into the Gilbert projects and some other stuff, is that not only are they paying more to the state, some of these workers are now actually paying a component of their income taxes to their boss. That for the first time, one of the ways that they're getting money out of these projects is that they're letting the developer, they're letting the business, quote, capture, unquote, payroll taxes, income taxes from their own employees. It's the first time ever in Michigan's history.
Yes,
that
and not only that, let's remind everybody, if they're also allowed to capture the sales tax generated by their neighbors. So if I've got the Coney Island and you've got the skyscraper, I get to capture a portion of your sales tax because the thought is I brought more business to the Coney Island. That's the kind of shit that's going on.
So, John,
and it's even worse because that's how in Michigan, that most people don't realize. In Michigan, the sales tax is our primary funding mechanism for our schools.
So
when our schools suck.
Can you share, just for the for the point or the purpose of clarification, in terms of how tax credits are either negotiated or secured?
Okay, time out there. For everybody listening, I apologize. You need to listen. Like, okay, now, John, make it consumable, not simple. Our people aren't stupid. Make it interesting. That's a great question.
It's been very interesting.
This is why our roads suck, our water's dirty, our power grid goes out. This is why all the things you're angry about with your government, this is the stuff going on underneath.
But when people hear, we
can do green news.
They got a tax credit for this, they got a tax credit for that. I mean, explain, is there a formula? Is it based on negotiation? Is it based on the what are the contingencies for receiving a tax credit, and what determines the amount?
It's one of those things that there's not a simple answer, because I mean you got to remember that in many ways the intent is to make this stuff complicated, more complicated than the average person can understand. So the basic process is a business goes to the local government or the state government. A lot of projects receive both local and state, sometimes county incentives. They go to the government and say, hey, you have these programs on the books, you have these laws on the books that allow for these kinds of credits, and here is our application.
Speed it up, man.
Submit ourselves with that. So they go to the government and say, hey, you have tax credit laws on the books. We want to do a project. We want some of those tax credits. And there's usually some level of negotiation that goes in. There is the bureaucrats work back and forth with them to make sure that they're dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. A big piece of that, overwhelmingly, in almost every case, they have to say, the business has to sign something legally on the dotted line, probably a perjury, whatever. That they would.
No, I'm Nix. Here, let me answer.
They got to promise that they're only doing it because of the incentives.
Right here. Let me tell you how it works. Okay. You know the Little Caesars deal?
Yes.
How did they get the Little Caesars deal? We didn't know about it. They went up to Lansing, threw a bunch of money around, right? Got a guy to sponsor the legislation, and it passes in the late night around Christmas. Now, the guy in Lansing, the politician who sponsored it, well, guess what he does now? He works for the DEGC, the one that gave the money to Illich. It's that, what do you call it? That turnstile bullshit where I can barely make my property taxes. Rich guys are getting rich, and all of their poodles go to work for them. Then they go on the TV shows, try to convince me of something. They do. And then a few years down the line, when we don't have any cops and the water's poisoned and everybody blames the asshole sitting in the chair now. So whoever wants to be mayor of Detroit, listen to me. You're going to get blamed for when the shit hits the fan. John, you're going to go like this, yes or no, when I tick it. There's a pension time bomb coming, yes or no?
Oh, absolutely.
$200 million a year, every year, starting in 2023, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely. We are giving too much money away to businesses that don't need it, and we're not spending it on the things that we do need.
Dude,
and
it's so bad.
Everybody thinks we all benefit when we do it, but we don't.
It's so bad half the country's like, yeah, let's be socialist. I got shit. I don't have a grand in the bank.
Well, this is what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. back in the day talked about programs like this, and he called them socialism for the rich, but rugged free enterprise capitalism for the poor. And that's what gets me is so often, overwhelmingly these deals go to big businesses. They go to politically connected businesses. They go to businesses that have the best lobbyists, industries that have the best lobbyists. If you're a small business person, if you're, Grace at American Coney Island, you're somebody trying to start up some home-based business in the city or elsewhere, you're not getting one of these deals. You're paying for these deals because you're the one who's actually paying your taxes. And all the evidence is that that's where economic growth comes from. If we want Detroit or any place in this state or any place in this country to grow economically, if we want people to have more wealth, the single best way to do that is to make it easy and successful for people to start up businesses.
Libertarian, growth, which is government get out of my ability to do business. Yeah. Right.
Economic growth comes from small businesses. Big businesses don't create economic growth. Big businesses are what you get when you've had economic growth. They are big because they grew. Big businesses don't grow. Small businesses grow. If you want economic growth, you have to have small businesses. And overwhelmingly, all these programs are designed to help big business, not small business.
Everybody thought the casinos were going to have that spillover. We're going to put them here, and they're going to attract. If you drive, and I don't gamble, but if you drive through the parking lot, they're all Michigan plates. Like, it's not, attracting any, it's not Vegas. People aren't flying here.
You get abandoned houses a block away. It's not.
That's how you make money, right? Is you attract people from outside the region. That's how a sports stadium will make money if you want to fly in. You know what happens in Madison Square Garden? They make money because people from L.A. fly in.
That new stadium they're building in Vegas, beautiful. People are going to fly in.
Sports stadiums are the worst single thing we can subsidize. Here's a fun little fact for you.
We have those.
Baseball stadiums you have the most fans of any stadium. You got all the 81 games a year or whatever the baseball stadium. Good year for the Tigers, for any pro team, is about 3 million fans. So it's a good attendance year. Okay. 3 million fans, 3 million customers is about the annual customer base of a single, mid-sized Walmart store. Stadiums are black holes economically. They sit empty almost all the time. They barely do anything in the community around them. They are just a terrible, terrible thing to subsidize. You could do more business by putting a department store there than you could a stadium. They're absolutely the wrong thing to subsidize.
And I totally defer to you on that economically, but I think in terms of creating Detroit as a reason to to visit here, a reason to stay, how do you attract and retain residents? This mayor said to judge him on population, but we're continuing to lose population. People that can leave are leaving. People that are here are not necessarily satisfied with the quality of life or the services they're receiving. And as you just confirmed, that's because we're investing in the things that are not making a difference in the lives of those who live here.
Yeah, no, you want to keep people living in the city. Schools, police, fire, EMS, clean, streetlights working, all the things that go into a functional community. I mean, somebody's not going to be like, well, the police don't show up if I call, or the schools are shit, but hey, we got a baseball team, so I'm going to stay here. They're going to be like, I'll move to the suburbs where I have those services and drive in and then drive right back out again. All the evidence is that, it's just in common sense. You get people to live someplace by making it a decent place to stay. And then, frankly, somebody who goes to the stadium 1, 2, 3, 5, however many times a year is going to be less interested about that and more like, hey, are there little small businesses in my neighborhood? Do I have a dry cleaner? Do I have a corner store? Is there some place for my kids to play? Is there a drugstore? The little businesses that are the ones that get screwed in this whole deal. They're not getting stadium-sized subsidies. They're actually dealing with an overwhelmingly abusive set of permits and fees and fines that they have to deal with that the city needs for the money.
And then let's do this because, for the unrepentant, racist white person who doesn't give a shit about the city, right? I'm kidding. But how much of all of this stuff, indirectly or directly, comes from a suburbanite, like, money that flows from across 8 Mile into the city? How much are, people living outside the city, how much are they paying here? They're paying, aren't they?
Well, yeah, because very few of these deals are just the city. Overwhelmingly, they're the state and the city. And even if it is just the city, hell, we all got years' worth of experience with the idea that the state is ultimately responsible for the finances of its cities. So, when you're talking about, $398 million for the district or $207 million in state incentives for the train station, or all the different
plus
stuff,
interest,
or whoever it is. That's all money that comes out of our state programs, out of our schools, out of all the stuff
it does, Mr. Economist. Because you know what, the property tax that they capture could have gone into the school fund, and since it doesn't go into the school fund, the suburbs have to send money to Detroit to make them whole, meaning everybody loses a bit of money for the school district. By my calculation, one teacher, right? I think there's about 588 school districts, one teacher per, just for the hockey arena payments every year.
Yeah, but it's important. I don't want to we shouldn't all just think that this is just a Detroit problem, because the more I look around the state at other places that we sort of assume are well run, or these communities that seem like they're doing fine, the numbers are ridiculous there. So it shouldn't be like the suburban is looking at Detroit and being like, "Oh, you fools, what are you doing?" I ran the numbers on Royal Oak, just their tax abatements alone, how much money they're not collecting in taxes every year because of their own economic development deals, just in Royal Oak. Enough money to run their
Ferndale,
Parks and Forestry, street lighting, engineering, elections, and the city clerk departments combined. It's a decent chunk of municipal government that they could be funding just with the economic development tax abatements they got. And it's Royal Oak. People aren't if you're going to build something there, you're going to build it because it's Royal Oak, because it's that you've decided, well, this is what I want rather than Ferndale or whatever. They don't need to subsidize that stuff.
Well, let me give you an example. Okay, remember the Fiat Chrysler plan, right? And we were told it's got to be done now, or Fiat Chrysler is going elsewhere. Remember? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, have fun with that.
So they said we're going to go to Belvidere, Illinois, because we have a plant there. So I said, oh wow, we got to get it done. We get it. I must have been the only reporter to call the mayor of Belvidere, Illinois, because you know what he told me? I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody called me. There's no plan here. We just lost our third shift, and we don't have a pot of money to give away. And I'm like, we got fucked. We got lied to. We didn't mind being lied to. And then, just a couple months later, some international merger with Peugeot? You knew that was in the works for months and if not years, because that doesn't happen overnight. What we did was fatten the bottom line to make this company attractive for a merger, and now there's no guarantee, there's no clawback if Peugeot, Fiat Chrysler, this mammoth international thing, decides not to do what they said.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the big thing, is that we get...
And I'm fucking paying for it.
We get lied to on an ongoing, consistent basis. And the thing is that, because to get these deals, these companies have to say, oh, well, we are going to go someplace else if we don't get this incentive.
Yes.
And they all have to sign their name on that form promising that, yes, we're going to go someplace else. Like you said, if it's one phone call and they're like, that's not it. And it's the bureaucrats at the agencies who are supposed to be protecting our interests and actually doing that homework. It shouldn't have to be the reporters. It shouldn't have to be the podcasters, whatever. It should be the bureaucrats. That's
They don't return
theoretically
calls.
their job.
They don't return calls.
But it goes against what they claim. It goes against, the narrative. It goes against everything that they promised to be reelected and the can that they keep kicking while they're in office. So I wouldn't expect them to admit any of this.
But there's a good example just back at the end of 2018. Matt Ishbia was United Shore Mortgage up in Pontiac. He was building a new thing, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to give you about $2 million of tax incentives." And he found out through the paperwork. He's not involved in that sort of paperwork. He's running the company. He found out in the paperwork that they had gotten it because the MEDC or whoever it was had signed off saying, yes, if they don't do this, they're going to move to California. And he's like, we weren't going to move to California. What the hell are you talking about? And he gave back the incentives. He's like, that's not our money. We were going to be here anyways, so we don't need it. Put it back in the schools. It was the kind of thing that you. Wow. It shouldn't be that unusual, and I shouldn't have to look back 2 years for a business being ethical like that. But it was really a pretty amazing circumstance to see somebody be like, wait, no, we weren't going to go. Why did you give us this money? We didn't deserve it.
It is.
Won't hear that often.
And it is what it is now. Hey, listen, John Mosina, president of the Center for Economic Accountability. Bro, we're going to come back to you as things unfold and, events take place, right? A little expert.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to him about some projections, next time.
Yeah.
What should we expect? What kind of...
Make us a list. When is the economy going to collapse? Is it going to collapse? What are interest rates going to be?
Impact that it's going to have on the city.
Well, what kind of future we're going to have for my daughter? A polar bear is going to be moving to Escanaba. I'm going to want the whole deal.
I'll do what I can. I'm not an economist, but my job is to talk to him so you don't have to.
All right, brother. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Smart guy.
And, my thing is that I'm still disappointed, being an East Sider, that they just shut down St. Jean. Nobody asked anybody. Nobody said anything.
Yeah.
I mean, just like Duggan said on Flashpoint, he says, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get them here. I even promised to shut down St. Jean. And lo and behold, whole damn street is shut down.
I don't mean to dismiss it. Small potatoes.
I know. I'm just
global...
thinking, Charlie. That's my thought.
It's cool. And
it's one of my thoughts.
I mean, we've got the Chinese making a deal. I don't know if it's a great deal, but it's some kind of deal.
Yeah, that was just my thought. Whatever.
Well, now finally, to go from naked white men in a sauna to the city council room of Flint to the office towers of Troy with bankers. We cannot forget our brothers and sisters in Detroit scraping by. Not all of them, but that's I do in Brownstown. That sounded wrong. So we went from high to low. And here's low. This is Gus Malone trying to get some disability because he's really not employable. He's a human being. This is produced by, what's Jason's last name?
Cook.
Jason Cook, Karen's son. He and Mannequin Joe are partners. We're trying to not teach. Jason knows how to.
Well, they're all learning to be. We are all learning.
So Jason and I did a piece together, but we did it by text message and a 90-second phone call.
Cool.
And I go, not that way, and then he went fully the other way, and then this is what we have, and I think the guy's got a lot of potential here. Okay. I really do. So next one, we're going to sit together. I'm going to show him what I like. And
that's what matters, and I appreciate that, Charlie.
It's a family affair,
and I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you.
I love you. We are a family.
I love you back and more.
And you all out there, I love you too. I do. And excuse us for wonking out, but I know you. Back to the green news after Gus and Timmy.
How's it going? If your power goes out, remain calm.
The Social Security office in Detroit is a dispiriting place done up in industrial grays. It's filled with the long, glum faces of those who molder in the bowels of the federal bureaucracy, waiting for some faceless bureaucrat to help them. Take a number. Sit down. No loud noises. No food. No phones. Into this purgatory enters Gus Malone, a raggedy 52-year-old homeless man, along with his faithful dog, Timmy. Timmy is described as a white, fluffy furred chow, no bigger than a piece of carry-on luggage. Gus parades Timmy up and down the gray carpet of the waiting room as if this were the competition floor of the Westminster Kennel Club. "Good boy, Timmy," crows Gus upon reaching the far wall, making an ostentatious pivot on the heels of his second-hand sneakers and cantering Timmy back across the waiting room. He brings him to a heel near the take-a-number machine. "Timmy, you're a good boy." Here, Gus casts a sideways glance up at the government clerk, who is sitting behind the bulletproof glass, wanting to be sure she's taking this all in. But it appears that invisible dogs are as common at the Social Security office as a daffodil in spring. The bureaucrat bats not an eyelash at the dog who is not there. Gus has come to the Detroit office to file a disability claim with the federal government, hoping to hit the jackpot of all jackpots, $771 a month, every month for the rest of his natural-born days. Gus then confides that there really is no Timmy. It's a ruse that Gus characterizes as playing crazy. The invisible dog bit may be the dollop of perceived schizophrenia that will fast-track his application directly to the top of the approved basket. "I'm just a man trying to eat," whispers Gus to a woman with an oxygen tank sitting next to him. "I'm trying to eat while not getting ate. Who it really hurting anyway?" The lady nods knowingly to Gus. For all the electronic chatter about the comeback of Detroit, it is hard to see here at the Social Security office, miles from the refurbished office towers of downtown, where the artificial beach, deck chairs, and outdoor cocktail stands have become something of a surrogate Puerto Vallarta for the skinny jean millennials who work the cubicles there. Out here in the real Detroit, where 650,000 of the poorest people in America live, no one seems to blame a guy pulling the invisible dog hustle. Out here in the other Detroit, the glass seems perpetually half empty. Nearly half the children live in poverty. Average household income is nearly half that of the United States in general. Nearly half the adults are functionally illiterate, and consequently, nearly half the adult population is not only unemployed, they're not even looking for a job. Detroit has made progress since the bad old days when both General Motors and the city itself went bankrupt and the mayor was sent to prison for lining his pockets with the public's money. Today, the budget is balanced. Condominiums are being built, and thousands of people move downtown to live and work. Development is booming, much of it with substantial public subsidies. Welfare for the rich. But outside the downtown silk stocking district, opportunities are fewer beyond the government check. A recent study of U.S. Census data showed that while 31,000 jobs were created in Detroit between 2011 and 16, the number of Detroit residents who had jobs declined by 4,500. Thousands continue to get their water shut off for lack of payment, and thousands more lose their houses every year due to tax foreclosure. And consequently, the Social Security office does a booming business. And it is into this army of have-nots that Gus hopes to enlist. He rises early from bed beneath a picnic table in the newly refurbished park in Corktown, the epicenter of white revival in downtown Detroit. "I like it in the white part of town," Gus says. "It's safer there." And so Gus awakes, ties his shoes, relieves himself in the bushes, puts a bristle to his gums, and jumps aboard his stolen bicycle with the bent rear rim and the dog leash hanging from the handlebars. Whatever his malady, Gus is vigorous, managing to outpace the Q line, built with taxpayer money, that services downtown commuters. The trolley, however, has so few commuters that it is in jeopardy of going insolvent, and there is a push to get taxpayers to fund this too. There's plenty of fresh cement in downtown Detroit. Gus wobbles by a restaurant that features $100 steaks, but who can afford a $100 steak? Already, restaurants are closing. It is easy to dislike a man like Gus. He is, after all, a spectacle and a mooch, a deserter from the 9-to-5 work world who characterizes his adult life as the mop, the dishwashing machine, the cracked stem, and a few smashed windows. Still, there is something appealing about a man clucking lovingly to an empty leash. Gus manages to panhandle $2 for some invisible dog food. God bless, says Gus to the Good Samaritan. He hops aboard his pilfered bike and continues his ride to the government office with Timmy in tow. And there goes the skyscraper hole being built with hundreds of millions of dollars in public subsidies. And there goes the sports stadiums that house all 4 of Detroit's professional sports teams. Those 2 were built with public money. But to add insult to poverty, all 4 teams reside somewhere near the cellar and still make a handsome profit. Meanwhile, back at the Social Security office, number 87. Gus's number's been called. You want to file for disability? Asked the sleepy-eyed clerk. Yes. Are you able to work online? I can't read, says Gus. Do you have ID? No, he informs. Sit, Timmy. I brought my dog Timmy with me, too. Say hello to Timmy. Hello, Timmy, says the clerk, who for the first time looks up, only to find nothing. She taps lethargically into the computer before handing Gus an appointment slip for his intake interview, scheduled 3 weeks from today. By any measure, a reasonable outcome. On their way out the door, Timmy takes a shit on the carpet. Bad boy, Timmy, shouts Gus, who stoops over with an outrageous flourish to pantomime the tidying up of Timmy's mess. And then Gus turns one last time with a wave to the clerk. She waves back. A reasonable day indeed. That is, until Gus steps out into the chill, only to realize someone has stolen his stolen bike.
I liked that, Charlie. I was really engaged. I almost forgot where I was. That was good. I enjoyed that.
Hey, it's done it well. We're going to... Too much narration, little dead spot with sound in the middle. Just a few cues.
I got you. But I'm listening to the narration. I mean, I'm listening. I'm following. I am seeing Gus and Timmy. I'm following it mentally. When I can follow something and create it, then it's good. I mean, I'm listening to your narration. I'm following the story. I enjoyed that.
It's hard to get all this done, in a week,
Well, but you do.
But I just for your son, you tell him, like I know he's a producer, but like he does a few of those. He can do This American Life, like with Ira Glass.
He's been asking me, like, when are we going to do another piece? When are we going to do another piece? So it's me. I actually have 2 things in mind.
Want to do the Tiger Lady?
I got to do the Tiger Lady, but I also have somebody else that is, to me, offers an insight into the forgotten Detroiter. And I want to share his story. Somebody that lived on the street that I grew up on. And, when I left and my mom was still there, he was always the person, the handy guy. And because of that, he's fallen on hard times, but he was always there for my mother. And so whatever he needs, I got him.
Oh, there you go.
But some of the circumstances that he has gone through and experiences based on, he takes care of his mentally challenged brother, but just, he's got a $240 electricity bill. He didn't get his disability check for 3 months.
What does that mean? See, I'm going to give you some advice now. Listen, show, don't tell.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. But I'm just saying this is that, and people...
We're all forgotten.
And he's a good guy.
We're all forgotten.
Good guy.
Like what you just described, I know a lot of people like that. Or the anxiety. Every study shows you anxiety is rising because we're worried about being that person.
But what would he do... because he won't call and I'll go grocery shop. I say, do you need anything? Let us go grocery shopping for you. He won't ask. So I check. So what would happen if I weren't there to kind of help?
He'd probably get it done. I don't know.
He probably would.
Maybe why don't you stop helping him and then stand back at a distance and see.
That's not me, Charlie.
Well, remember now, show, don't tell.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes I take recording deck, and as you know in these pieces, sometimes I don't. Because, one, it's cold. 2, I'm not allowed to record in the government building to make any sense. So now you take your notepad, right? So there's many ways to do it.
Okay, I'm learning too, Charlie.
That's why guys like your son, the artist, help bring the thing to life, right, Joey? It's just layers of sound. It's in that,
But life is a learning process for everybody.
Isn't that great?
It is,
Fake dog. I found him in the fake dog working on the Coney Island, and that's such a great job for a reporter because a lot of stories come your way.
Right.
Usually as a reporter, you get up, you go to work, you go, fuck, I got nothing this week. I got nothing. I got to find something. It's really good to have a job where you just get a whiff Like, I'm down there working on the foundation, and I just noticed the cigarette butts. And I noticed that the cigarette butts are smoked down all the way to the end. And you always know the good times, it would stand to reason that half-smoked cigarettes would be thrown away. Right? You're rich. You don't smoke the whole thing. You're in a hurry. I didn't see any. That registers.
That's pretty profound, Charlie.
That's the
But that also shows you have to take the time to notice things and people and circumstances, occurrences, or lack thereof. Those are the things that tell you what's really going on, not just absorbing what you're being told and being given.
See, I'm not going to blow myself, but like I was trained to do stories like that. You put the...
Those are stories.
Yeah, like, okay, I'll hang with it. What do you want? We had John on. That's a ladle of information. A lot of people don't like it. People want it hidden. You want your medicine mixed up with lemonade, right? And some people do like it that way. But the art of journalism and storytelling and just that good yarn in the paper, that's just gone. It's just gone. It's a tweet now, but I still dig it.
But this is the thing, though. Even the information, when presented, I mean, the way that it's, in my opinion, presented here is still a story. It's still engaging. Like it's not somebody reading or just taking, cutting and pasting from something else. I mean, he's peeling away layers on an issue that most people either have not thought about, have not talked about, or haven't heard about.
Yeah.
That's valuable.
And don't forget, got to dig each other, right? And we cannot let it go without, the voice of a prominent female from Detroit. Take us out, Joey. Hey, my daughter was listening to it.
Why men great till they gotta be great?
Karen frown because
I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% that bitch. Even when I'm crying crazy, yeah, I got boy problems. That's the human in me. Bling bling, then I saw them. That's the goddess in me. You could have had a bad bitch, not committal. You with your
nice to watch
career,
young teenage
just
girls
a
growing.
little. You supposed to hold me down.
Had a late start at school today. I took him out to breakfast.
That was cool.
And then, we applied the math. Like, I was like, okay, you're going to tip 20%. Right? So you're going to round this up to the higher number. So it was like,
that's how people learn.
It was $18. I go, that's 20. Yep. Right? And I go, what's half of 20? 2? I said, double it. That's 20%. 4. I go, there you go. That's what you do.
But that's how kids learn. How they learn. You can't just say, go read a book, go figure it out. So.
And then they say, you want that oatmeal to go to the box. And I'm like, if you go out to eat, don't take a box. Don't walk out with a box.
That's another conversation. Depends on where you are. You get that $100 steak and don't eat it all. Yeah,
I ain't going to do that. No, if I get a $100 steak, I'm sitting there till it's done. Good weekend, Joey.
I'm in it. I don't play tag, bitch, I've been it. We don't fuck with lies, we don't do goodbyes. We just keep it pushing like, aye. I'ma hit you back and I'm in it. I don't play tag, bitch, I've been it. We don't fuck with lies, we don't do goodbyes. We just keep it pushing like, aye.